All right, let me just start out saying this video. I'm loving PoE 2. I'm having a ton of fun, but there was something I was thinking about that I realized I've been playing the Mercenary. I am level 85 and I've done 2 of my 4 Ascendancies. And I have no incentive to actually push and do my Ascendancy because none of this is that exciting to me on the Witch Hunter, at least. Some of these things I think looked cooler on the surface than how they felt to play in the game. So today I'm just going to look at some of these PoE 2 Ascendancies and compare them to some things we had in PoE 1 and just sort of, I feel like GGG is trying to be too smart for their own good. They're like overthinking all of these Ascendancies. So for this dude over here, number 8, we've got explosions. Okay, explode, great. That's dead simple. It's great. I love it. Then we have something like Culling Strike. That's a nice thing, good quality of life. But then a lot of these other things, it just feels like, man, I don't really want to take this, or I don't know really what it does or how it's really going to impact my class. So because I'm playing the Mercenary, I can look at some of the other Ascendancies, but this is just a good example. Sorcery Ward, this kind of converts your armor and evasion into elemental mitigation. I tested it. I didn't like it. It felt like I really had to invest so much to get out of it what I needed to, and I needed to take the next node to also get the power out of it. Then there's like this concentration thing where it's obviously designed to make bosses do their big attacks less often and deal up to 30% more damage. I'm not feeling like I'm fighting enough bosses in PoE 2 to make use of this, so I'm stuck in this weird spot where I'm feeling like, man, I don't really want this because that's not really that cool. There's this, my damage is fine, so that's not really that interesting. And then there's this Sorcery Ward, which just has this ridiculous downside of 50% less armor and evasion rating on an Ascendancy. My Ascendancy should be exciting. It should be a huge power spike, obvious power spike. I just want to look at some of the PoE 1 Ascendancies and you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. They're dead simple. Some of them are obviously more complex than others, but a lot of them are just your skills chain +1 times. Oh, sweet, man. Like, I want to get that. Also, 2 additional projectiles. Far Shot, we have double Mirage Archers or Gale Force, like you attack quickly. When you're ascending in PoE 1, I'm sure many of you had this feeling of, what do I take first? All of this looks so cool. Do I get like +1 Frenzy Charge, and then I can get more accuracy from my Frenzy Charge, or my marks have double effect? Or up here, the Occultist. She is the master of chaos, and she can do just an additional curse, and your hexes can hexproof enemies. Profane Bloom. Your enemies explode. -20 to chaos res, -20 to cold res. Nearby enemies cannot regenerate. 60% more chaos res, 15% more chaos damage. These are just, they're so simple, and I feel like so much of the PoE 2 Ascendancies are just unnecessarily overcomplicated. If I were to rework this Ascendancy, the Witch Hunter, how about like your grenades have a 50% chance to detonate a second time and have +20% AoE, or maybe something like +100% AoE of your grenades. Just things that are like so obvious. This is for my grenade, dude. Or 100% increased crossbow reload speed. Your bolts gain heat twice as fast and retain heat twice as long. It's just, you look at that and you go, oh, sweet, that's a really cool thing. I'm playing this class, that fits into that. They don't all have to be that simple. Obviously, PoE has some more complex things that maybe might not be as obvious on the surface. Hits always ignite, all damage can ignite, 25% more damage with ignites. You don't have to be a genius to figure out what these things are and what they do. This guy, you look at him, you're like, this is the totem guy, but he's also the Arcane Surge guy, and I'm using Arcane Surge. I can scale my mana and get like so much more out of it and get more brand stuff. Brands have 100% more activation frequency if 75% of attached duration has expired, and 100% increased cooldown recovery rate. These are like very, very obvious power spikes. Same with Chieftain. Chieftain's got like his explode stuff over here. Chieftain was one that was reworked recently that I thought was done really well. Initially, he looked a bit lame, but I mean, a lot of people ended up playing him. And you look at these notables, the power is obvious. 40% more damage, 10% increased damage taken. Wow, huge damage spike. War cries exert twice so many attacks. Very obvious power. Crit multi, flat damage. Blitz, go faster. This guy, tanky. All of these ascendancies are just so much simpler than what we are seeing in PoE 2. And it's making me wonder, does this need to be this complicated? Okay, maybe make one of the ascendancies way more complicated and makes you think a bit and do something more interesting, but cannot just like a couple of these nodes be, you know, your crossbows explode more or your grenades explode harder and you shoot more explode grenades. The witch, why does the witch, you know, the minion class doesn't really have any minion stuff? Why not like 50% reduced spirit cost of minions? You see that and you're like, double minions, that's sick, I want to get that, that's so cool. Or like your minions deal 20% of physical as extra chaos. Or I don't know about other classes. I know there is very cool stuff you can do with these. There's very clever things and there are inspiring things. The blood mage on its surface look cool, but apparently it's just like non-functional. Can we, this is just a bit of feedback, can we just get like a bit of simpler stuff in the game? If I'm playing a dude who hits stuff with a hammer, make it hit stuff with a hammer harder, bigger. If I'm playing a tanky dude, I don't know, double my armor. It doesn't have to be that simple, okay? Look, I'm not trying to make the game so simple, but if you compare some of these to what we have in PoE 1, this thing compared to, I don't know, a cultist, which is just like, hey, my chaos skills and my cold skills are stronger and the enemies explode and I can curse them twice. It's so much just on the nose, but you can still have that same level of complexity with it. So you've got like the trap guy, the dude that all the hardcore guys play, the crit poison guy. We got the tanky Templar, the totem / brand guy. We got the, I don't know what the Guardian is, let's face it, but you know, my point should be made. All of these themes are so on its surface very obvious. I don't know, the more I'm playing and the more I'm realizing like, man, why don't I want to ascend? And then I look at the PoE 1 things, it's obvious. It's because like, man, I'm playing with grenades. Make my grenades do something cool. Make him catch fire when I shoot a gas grenade or make more grenades come out. But anyway, a bit of off-the-cuff feedback. It doesn't have to be dumbed down, but PoE 1, are you saying PoE 1's a dumbed down game? These are not dumbed down, but these are still very cool power spikes when you get it. You feel incentivized to do it. Maybe it's just a problem with the Witch Hunter. Let me know. Have you been feeling, oh, I really want to do my Ascendancy so I can get 30% less cost of skills, but skill gems have 30% more Are you rushing for that? Is that really exciting? 3 additional skill slots, are you rushing for that? 2 copies of the same support gem? Now that's just like obvious. And just like the power is so obvious, but I hope that we get some changes on these Ascendancies. Sometimes feels a bit like, I don't know if these were rushed or if they were not the opposite of rushed. They were like overworked to the point that they've just become like, so let me know what you think. You feeling like you don't want to ascend as well? Have a wonderful day. Catch you in the next video and bye-bye.